Now that we covered the external programming, the deeper question is, if the brain could be programmed, can it also be intentionally conditioned from within? Let's check it out. Most people can't get past what Neville Goddard said, or what they called single vision. Most people believe that the outside world is the only world there is. Is it? They get it from what they see, what they hear, what they touch. And because of that, they're always reacting to life. It makes sense. That's single vision. That's what Neville called it. They react to the news, social media, any media, emotional conditions, survival patterns. I got a question. What if perception itself is shaping behavior? And what if everything that you assign, so what you choose to give meaning to, starts to condition your nervous system? What kind of trap would that be? Because eventually, once it goes to the nervous system, your brain's going to make it automatic. And it's not just going to be your behaviors, it's going to be your patterns, something like your loops, your emotions, what you give attention to, and your identity. And at this point, a lot of you understand physical conditioning because of the repetitiveness. Like if you're curling, right? The body adapts. If you're benching, the body adapts. If you're squatting, though it may hurt, the body adapts. No one says the same thing about psychological conditioning. Psychological conditioning, fear, anger, rejection, inadequacy, avoidance. If you rehearse those unintentionally because your nervous system already got to you, then the brain is going to start treating those states of mind or body like the body does when you're weightlifting. So the way you think about the body, like you know it, is the same way you should think about your psychological conditioning because it's something you repeatedly rehearse. Fear, rejection, inadequacy, avoidance. The brain starts to treat all of those states like it's familiar. And then your nervous system combined with your brain starts to automate them. And this is where Neville and Blake are interesting to me because they believe that most people were trapped inside single vision. Single vision is literal perception, like everything was real, even things on TV that might not be real. If you fact checked it, it affects you as if it's real. That's single vision. When you're in single vision, you tend to see everything as physical facts, and you react automatically without thinking about it. We believe, or our body already believes, that what happens on the outside world will affect us, and it determines the state we're going to be in. And if you want to gain control, you want to know about that. So when you wake up in the morning times, if you grab your phone, you're going straight to social media because somehow you feel like you missed something, or maybe you're hooked on the dopamine rush you're going to receive, get yourself started. You can also feel like you're behind. Oh, did I miss anything? What have I missed? Which is a trick from the brain. Anxiousness starts to creep up on you while you're watching. It becomes your distraction instead of starting your day correctly. It's a form of avoidance because it's the easiest thing to do. Remember, the brain wants to do the easiest thing to get the easiest dopamine rush. And it's going to help you feel like you caught up on something, got something accomplished. So you check your phone, you get your dopamine rush. Slowly, constantly, you start your reps and they become part of your identity. It happens to everyone until you catch it. Not because you chose it consciously. It's just like I've always been saying on Instagram. The brain rewards what's familiar, even if it's unhealthy. That might be the trap you're trapped in. And it's not really easy to escape, or else everybody would have done it. Neville said in one of his lectures, all things transient are but images, meaning physical reality is temporary, it's symbolic, it's reflective, but it's not ultimately the only reality. And a lot of people look at an object, let's just say like my phone, right? They look at it, it's just an object. But Neville was saying it's symbolic. The phone is symbolic. The meaning behind anything and everything. So the phone, which is what we're talking about when you first grab it, is against you in a way. That's thinking past single vision. His example was fire is not just fire. It represents life, transformation, intensity, death, and rebirth. Just like birds are not just birds. So the three things that they represent is creation, time, fragility. A bird is hatched, it lives, meaning time span. Fragility could mean any kind of death. It means anything and everything has a life, time. It's going to live and it's going to pass away. So once you start to see the meaning behind what you're looking at, like a bird, that's called twofold vision. You're no longer just looking at a bird, just that's a bird. You're looking at the life of the bird, psychologically, spiritually. And this matters more than what most people think. So it's like layers. The meaning you assign to life changes your emotional state. And the emotional state influence attention, what you focus on, behavior, decision making. It's all about how the nervous system reacts. Modern science, like neuroscience, overlaps this more than people think. So I'm gonna put it together. Your brain has an intentional filtering system. Everyone has it. So that's how when you look at an incident, I can see one thing and you can see another. Neither one are wrong. It's our filtering system, but we take it like it's, law instead of understanding. The meaning behind that is like your brain pays attention to what it thinks it's important. If you constantly look and rehearse for fear, your subconscious mind, your mind is going to pay more attention and look for threats. That's not the kind of world I want to live in. If you constantly rehearse rejection, your brain becomes hypersensitive and focused on any type of rejection at any level. If you focus on possibility, attention starts to shift over to opportunities. So perception itself begins shaping your experience. And this is where Neville becomes interesting because Neville taught imagination is not passive. It's not a fantasy. It's something you work on. Imagination is conditioning. He actually said your moods are your dreams in daylight. That line right there is massive. If you never heard it before, Neville Goddard taught that all your moods, all your states of mind are your dreams, your daydreams in the daylight while you're awake, is what he means. Because most people think that imagination is fake, but it's what keeps you stuck. Remember, your brain responds to whatever is repeated and emotionally rehearsed. So look, athletes use this. The military training, they use it because they know that the nervous system responds to repetition. Now we're getting somewhere. So even your imagination that leads to a feeling or running through a script in your mind, that internal rehearsed experience that you go through on a situation that you didn't like can become cemented. Neville used to say, construct an image or a scene in your imagination that implies your dream fulfilled. Not vaguely, not hoping, not wishing, concrete and emotionally, because that's going to affect your nervous system. And you do that over and over again. That's why I say baby steps until you start to feel it. You can change your life completely. Say things like immerse yourself all the way in with everything you got, even if it's 4 or 5 minutes. Get it until the psychological part overlaps with the neuroscience because of the visualization, emotional conditioning, intentional practicing. That all sets up your nervous system. That's how it works. What's proven through neuroscience. Your brain reacts to reps. What going to the gym doing a million reps does. So this is obviously why new goals feel so unfamiliar and you can't, it's not easy. You don't got nothing yet inside your system that grabs hold of it. Remember how I used to say, you're going to still feel unsafe. It's going to feel unfamiliar. You're going to lack confidence. And the brain will say, whoa, stop, U-turn, old patterns, here we come. Let's get back to what we know. So if you practice, I don't know if you've listened to my Instagram, but I was like, this is who we are now. And you repeat that over and over again as you're doing things, you're starting to cement it and get the nervous system to kick in. Instead of feeling fear, get calm. Practice calmness, poise, practice discipline, practice confidence, emotional stability. Take control. And eventually, those states are going to stop feeling foreign to you. You're going to do it on purpose. You're going to get further faster. And that's where life starts to change. The nervous system kicks in, new behaviors start to happen, not through wishful daydreaming. I wish I could do this. You can actually do it. Baby steps. It's easy. When you do intentional rehearsal or when you do intentional baby steps, it starts to create your new identity. And that's when you start to seal the deal with this is who we are now. Getting back to Neville, that's why Neville said practice, practice, practice. You fall short, don't judge it. You start feeling like you fail. You can't fail if you don't quit. It's a learning in progress. What did I learn today? Just make it easier for yourself. Because if you don't, you'll start feeling the rejection, the embarrassment, that like it's total disaster, which I hope not. And you'll start to repeat that again. You'll be like, I don't know why I'm doing this. So practice and imagine what you want. Get emotional about it. Get fired up, or just be happy that you're getting started, but congratulate yourself. Enter that state of feeling good. The imagination, listen, the imagination, it won't do it by itself. You're going to have to direct it. Like Neville said, it's not passive. Once the body starts to recognize the new you, ooh, watch out, watch out. Here comes confidence, here comes gratitude, here comes a poise or calm certainty. The accomplishment is there. You might feel that. Some people do. I just get confident. You definitely start to feel free. You start to trust yourself. That gets me excited. It's like, let's go. These are the steps to get that done. The reason I created Baby Steps for me was because I needed to bypass my brain. I had to allow myself to become new and get rid of all excuses that would run in my brain. Now, I didn't create false excuses. I had things in my brain that I believed would stop me. To get around that, I just started baby steps and saying, see, I did it. See, I did that. So the baby steps will direct your imagination. So when can we really get started? We can start all of this, write it all down, but you can definitely get started today.